When I was a kid, my grandmother's house always gave me the creeps. It wasn't the creaky floors or the old wallpaper peeling at the corners. It was the spare room, the one at the end of the hall with the door that never fully closed, the one no one ever went into. She just called it the sewing room, though I never saw a needle or spool of thread in there. It was mostly empty. A bare wooden floor, a single window facing the woods, and a dusty old TV that sat on the floor in the corner, the kind with the dials and rabbit ears. Whenever I stayed over, I'd pass that door, slightly ajar, and quicken my step. Sometimes I'd hear faint sounds, whispers maybe, or the rustle of fabric. But every time I asked my grandmother, she just smiled and said, "The house makes noises when it settles." One night, during a summer storm, the power went out. My grandmother lit candles, made me a hot cup of tea, and told me to sleep in her room since I was scared of the thunder. But I couldn't sleep. The wind howled against the window, and rain slapped the roof like footsteps. At some point, I realized I needed to pee, so I tiptoed down the hall in the dark. As I passed the sewing room, I saw a light. The door, usually cracked, was wide open, and inside that old TV, despite the outage, was glowing, not playing anything, just static, that gray hissing snow that shouldn't exist without power. I froze. My heart thumped in my chest like it wanted out. But something about the TV, it was hypnotic. It flickered in slow pulses, almost like breathing. I stepped closer. Inside the static, I thought I saw shapes, faces. They flickered in and out like they were trapped just behind the glass. Some were screaming, others just stared. Then behind me, the floor creaked. I spun around, but no one was there. Just the dark hallway, lit faintly by the strobing TV light. I turned back to the screen, and the faces were gone, replaced by words scrawled across the static like scratches. "Sit down." I staggered back. The chair, the one I swore wasn't there before, was now positioned right in front of the screen, the seat facing the TV, empty, waiting. Then the door slammed shut. I screamed and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. The knob was ice cold. The static hissed louder behind me, rising to a pitch like it was screaming now too. I didn't want to look, but I had to. The chair wasn't empty anymore. Someone, or something, was sitting there. Their back was to me, but I could see long, tangled black hair and fingers clutching the armrests so tightly the knuckles bulged white. They tilted their heads slightly as if listening, and then the static whispered something I'll never forget. "You see it now, don't you?" I closed my eyes and screamed. When I opened them again, the power was back. The door was open. The TV was off. The chair was gone. I ran to my grandmother's room, sobbing. She didn't ask what was wrong. She just pulled me into bed and whispered, "It finally noticed you. I never stayed there again." Years later, after she passed, I returned to the house to help clean it out. It had been abandoned for months, left exactly as she left it. Dust coated everything. I walked to the end of the hall. The sewing room door was shut this time. I reached for the knob. It opened on its own. Inside was nothing but the TV, now broken, the screen shattered and dark. But just before I turned to leave, the screen flickered, just once, with one last burst of static. And in the shards of broken glass, I saw my reflection. Only, it wasn't me. It smiled.